Vintage airline ads that used naughty and sexy approach to sell tickets.
From mini-skirted hostesses to clear suggestive lines, companies have a long history of using women to sell air travel. This was the time when flying was both the literal and figurative height of sexiness. While sex sells is one of those universally known truths that just seem so obvious, there are studies that show that it's not always the case. However, sex in airline advertising was used heavily during the 1960s and 1970s in a push to attract the men clientele. Surprisingly, using this idea of sex sells began as early as even 1871. An advertisement for Pearl Tobacco included a naked woman in the print ad. Then in 1885 W. Duke and Sons took notice of their competitors' increased revenue and they run the same strategy by including sexually provocative trading cards in their cigarette packs. Due to this, the company grew into the leading cigarette brand at the time. Early in the 1900s, soap companies used this strategy of dirty fun in their advertisements. Pear's soap's famous poster of an attractive witch, riding a broomstick naked, was first seen in 1899. Again, this did not promote the soap in any way other than using a beautiful woman to boost sales. Sexual images in advertising were becoming very common after the post-war, and advertisers began trying something new, something to stimulate the brain in a different way. Sexual innuendos started popping up in ads to create a different effect in people's minds. A sexual image was not thrown at them, just a slogan or saying that could be looked at in two different ways, the literal meaning and the sexual meaning. This was up to people to imagine and to figure out where their dirty minds could take them. Ads continued to get sexier and sexier, particularly in the fashion world, with the majority of advertisements that featured women in any way presenting them as sex objects. One study looking at advertising in the 1960s and 1980s found that while the number of ads featuring or alluding to sex didn't necessarily go up, they did become a lot more overt, unambiguous, and visual. The use of sex in advertising has been criticized for its tendency to reinforce sexist stereotypes. Since the late 1970s, many researchers have determined that advertisements depict women as having less social power than men, but the ways in which women are displayed as less powerful than men have evolved over time. In modern times, advertisements have displayed women's expanding roles in the professional realm and importance in business backgrounds. However, as this change occurred, there has been a substantial increase in the number of images that showcase women as less sexually powerful than men and as objects of men's desire.
If you like this video, make sure you subscribe to my channel.